You are listening to Nollywood Radio France. I'm Comfort Abiodun, your host. Please stay with us. On the 1st of October, a day that marks the independence anniversary of Nigeria, was held the Spotlight Nigerian Conference. The aim of Spotlight Nigerian Conference is to provide a good understanding about Nigeria economy, especially for non-Nigerian and the diaspora community who are interested in investing and doing business in Nigeria. The theme was Beyond Rhetorics, the non-stories guide to investing, doing business and getting employed in Nigeria. The organizer of this event was the African Business Club Paris. Established since 2003, is one of Europe's leading platform for brainstorming on issues that affect the African continent. The club's regular activity is to provide an excellent opportunity to network with like-minded professionals who have an interest in the African continent. And also, the Think Possibilities group created by John Okoro. The company is a Pan-African group with 3 subsidiaries: event, media, and consulting. The group is headquartered in Paris and has an office in Lagos. So the conference took place at ESCP conference room in Paris. This conference was one of a kind, I can say, really, because the interview setup was very well organized and literally lift my spirit up. It shows how French investors are well mature and ready to work with Africans, and here Nigeria. It was very exciting also to connect with people that had the same interest. Like it was said, to make it big in Africa, a business must succeed in Nigeria, the continent's largest market.
People, and I would say they're very ambitious, and I think that ambition needs to be channeled out so that Africa could be led by a country like Nigeria. So I think it's all about discussing that today. So I'm not going to talk too much, but that was my point.
For my part now, I used to live in Africa for 5 years in Gabon, where I was selling alcohol and cigarettes. So it's not a very good business, but well, it's worthy business. It's good money business actually. Nigeria is a part of my scope because I recruit top managers and let's say middle-class managers in Africa since like 5 years now, for multinationals and local companies such as Dangote Group, such as Eurofine, from a lot of companies, Nigerian companies. Maybe all of you know Michael Page, no? Mm-hmm. And all of you send me your CV? Joking. Nigeria is a fantastic country. I've been there since 6 months ago with my boss, and we really appreciate this country, the mindset of the people there, and I think we're going to have a good discussion today. Thank you.
So, I think before we go further, I would like to know a little bit, just a resume of your experience. You know, where do you work? What's your company about? I know some of you have talked briefly on your companies, but just to give them an idea of what you do, for instance, where are you based, and what's your field of specialty?
So
who wants to start?
Okay. Personally, I'm based in Paris. I'm based in Neuilly. This is the reason why I was so far from here today, and sorry again for the late arrival. So we are based in Paris, and from Paris we address the whole continent. We have an office in Morocco, which addresses only the Moroccan market, and of course we have an office in South Africa, which addresses the South African market. But what we call the rest of Africa, which I don't like this word that much, is managed from Paris. So, and all of our clients are again in Dubai. They can be in Europe. They can be in Africa, of course. My goal, my purpose is to go in Africa every 2-3 weeks, each month, to go there in Africa. So, does it answer your questions? Yes. Okay. Excellent. Because I know that he has an office there. So.
You don't want to pass your turn? It's okay. I think I'm going to have a very bad neighbor next to me. It's a joke. Okay, well, thanks for... I think we forgot that because we are so excited and thrilled to join that we haven't even had the chance to thank the organizers. Thank you very much. That's a very good event. And I'm just encouraging you to do more and better, because that's the type of things that you guys are needing to know from some specialists that we are. Today, I think we've got another committee there with a very quality board. Just to talk about me very briefly, and I'll talk about Antal as well. Anyone knows Antal? I'll do the same publicity. Antal International. People looked at me, yes, but they didn't. No worries. Antal is a group which has been existing for the last 25 years. We are present in more than 35 countries. Africa is a very strong target. More than that, we've already got 2 offices in West Africa. For Ghana, we've got an office with 2 people. There's somebody called Janice, and I'll be very pleased to introduce you to her details so that whoever is interested in Ghana would be in touch with one of our managing partner in Ghana. We also have got another person. Her name is Funmi Wal. She's got a bigger office because she's been there for almost 14 years, and she's based in Lagos. Yes? Oh, sorry. Okay. You are going to start and stop. Talking about myself, I come from probably the same as my colleagues. I had an industry background from automotive and aerospace before I moved to recruitment. Recruitment pulled me out of this industry because they thought I may be good in recruitment. So I joined a few executive search companies. I developed some of the markets in France, but also in different European countries and North African countries, where we opened up some quarters so that we could be more present. So I'm now managing partner for Antal for France, mainly North Africa, but I'm working very closely with Africa, South Africa. We do have an office, but we're talking about West Africa today. So Janice and Fumni are people I work with as regularly as possible. I think I've said everything, I guess. whatever question you want to ask, then we'll be very pleased to answer, I hope. Thanks very much for accepting us.
So my name is Alex Fabry. As I was explaining before, I have been living in Nigeria for 2 years, in 2004-2005, and I really fall in love, I can say that, with this country. So when we come back, we decided to launch this company called Adexen. Adexen is today a recruitment and HR service company dedicated to the African market. So concretely, what do? We do headhunting, which is confidential approach, top management, executive. We do standard recruitment. We do assessment center for entry level and young graduates, and we do a little bit of HR consulting in Africa. We have an office and our headquarters based in Paris. We have an office in Lagos, and we have an office in Ghana and in Angola, Rwanda. Nigeria has always been the drive and the engine, if I may say so, for business. Today we are recruiting 75% of African from the diaspora worldwide and locally, because there are plenty of fantastic qualified Nigerians locally as well. And we do still recruit 25% of expatriates. We might enter later on the type of expatriate that we recruit, the type of sector or company that we are recruiting for as well. And it's been very, very, very nice entrepreneurial experience up to now, and it's booming. So I will definitely be pleased to promote Nigeria and promote as well the entrepreneurial aspect in Nigeria, because we're working for big companies. I think that there is plenty of opportunities for entrepreneurship in Nigeria, and that's as well something that we might discuss if you want.
Thank you very much. So, we know that last year Nigeria became the largest African economy, and there's been a sort of we like to call it the Nigerian rush. My voice is loud enough? Loud enough? So there's been a sort of rush to Nigeria, a lot of companies springing up here and there, and a lot of expatriates, both Nigerian and non-Nigerian, looking for jobs. And we know that there are already existing sectors that are expanding and new ones that have been created. But concretely, what are the sectors that are in demand? If I were, a job seeker, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who have that questions, what sectors are recruiting at the moment?
I think we're all going to talk, but I want to say all sectors, because everything is booming in Nigeria. Nigeria is too much associated in the oil and gas sector, and we have to understand that today the oil and gas sector is contributing up to 14% of the GDP of the country. So there are plenty of other opportunities that are currently promoted. I'm thinking about the food industry, the FMCG industry. This is the largest population in Africa, as well as the largest economy since the new how do you say that? Appraisal. So FMCG clearly, heavy industry driven by the construction. So we work a lot with cement company. Dangote was mentioned, but Lafarge is as well very, very big operator today. I think that the telecommunication has been booming. We are as well thinking about the financial sector. Nigeria has the ambition to become the first marketplace in Africa, and I'm confident that they will succeed to do it. So, and agricultural, there is a lot of agricultural project going on at the moment. I think there is plenty of opportunity at the moment in different sectors.
I 100% agree with that. Just a question out of anyone: who is intending to work in Nigeria or to have a link in Nigeria for people amongst here? Don't be afraid. You can raise your hand. Don't worry, we won't put you in prison. So you can answer. Who is there? Any of you who is basically looking to work or to have a business, to do something in Nigeria or in Africa in general? Well, that's bigger hands. So, people for Nigeria, interested in Nigeria, for setting a business up, okay, and for working over there. Okay, I couldn't count everyone, but it's very, very widespread, and there is definitely an interest. The reason why I'm asking this question is very simple. Nigeria is actually the place to be. Just to take the quotes of John early on. Where is he? Is there? Yeah, it's the place to be. And I think Alexandre next to me and Vladimir, they've well understood, how, those kind of priorities are on the business. And what I've realized myself from experience, I did some high-profile executive searches in Nigeria, in Lagos particularly. That was where the jobs were based, but I had to work worldwide. So I had to search for Nigerian binationals ready to come and basically set up in Lagos. And what Alexandre said was, today, I think the country is now changing their mind and their mentality, because we used to take priorities on people coming from expat or repat situations. Now it's different because some people are more skilled, they are much more advanced, they are very entrepreneurial in all different ways, so that Nigerians have realized that, hey, we are very good ourselves. We don't need people coming from elsewhere to ask for double trouble, 4 times the salary. We've got people very, very skilled. And actually, one of the proof of this is how the industry is moving. Yeah, oil and gas is traditionally what is pushing Nigeria as being in the GDP place. But that's not the only thing. And oil and gas resources are very limitless. So very limited, not limitless. So obviously we have to look at different ways to develop the businesses. And Nigeria, with other countries, have developed a lot of integrated solutions for mobile industry. I speak about it because I specialize my recruitment expertise in digital and mobile technologies and telecoms. And there's lots of initiatives, incubators, startups, a lot of projects which are involving, young entrepreneurs, and as well, people who want to share their knowledge and experience so that they can basically develop the market. There's loads of great companies which have been awarded. And Nigeria is a big market, is a massive market. For those who haven't understood that, I hope the other guest will show you what it takes about. So that was my point. Thanks.
Well, I think everything was said. How many of you guys have been to Nigeria? I've been to Nigeria. So the last time I've been there, 6 months ago, I felt a real energy. And I think it sums up what we were talking about. The energy is huge, and I am especially dedicated to recruitment in FMCG. So my clients are Coca-Cola, are Nestle, Danone, blah blah blah. And as Alexandre said, this is almost 200 million people market. So it's huge, and the needs are real. So yes, I think that we answered all the questions, so we can go to the next one. And my pick over there, I don't know if you recognize it, but it's Legos behind me. So the proof that I've been there.
Okay, thank you very much. So you talked about the local staff being more equipped and more skilled, as it were. But for expatriates coming back, for instance, both Nigerian and non-Nigerian expatriates who are looking to get jobs in Nigeria, what is the desired profile? I mean, what profiles do you look for as recruiters? And for companies in Nigeria, whether they're Nigerian or also foreign companies, what do they look for as a job seeker who is looking to go back to Nigeria or who's looking to go to Nigeria for the first time? What do I need, basically? Maybe we start with Lajma.
Sorry. No. Well, actually, I think all of my clients, almost all of my clients, they ask me for very qualified candidates now. I'll give you a concrete example. I placed the managing director of Danone 2 years ago now. She was basically responsible for baby food and related products. And now Danone just bought farm milk, right? And now she's responsible for the whole business. And she's just, I think she's 35 years old, and she has been in INSEAD, and she spent 2 years or 3 years at L'Oréal, and she had let's say a family project or life project to go back to Nigeria. She was suffering in Paris because it's so cold, and she told me that, oh, but please help me to go back to Nigeria. And this is a concrete example. She has 2 MBAs. She did INSEAD, and now she's in Nigeria, and she's doing great business for Danone. So this is her name is Toyin Odulate. Maybe you know her. She's a very good candidate, and well, this is a great example for her. And more companies they ask me for very qualified, very calibered candidates.
Well, I shouldn't have given her name because I will headhunt her now. So she loses a job with Danone. But seriously, I think there is different levels of employment in Nigeria, and Alexandre will not say the contrary. You have got the chance. When I say you, it's people who are willing to work. Whether you are or you're not Nigerians, or whether you are Link or you're not, but you've got a project there, to eventually be educated and highly educated. Now the question that decision makers are having is not necessarily having somebody who has got an experience in America or in the UK, where the strongest communities of Nigerians are based. For those who wants to have some historical background from there, they're actually looking for people, with education background and with strong experiences. And in Nigeria, that's I've asked for me. I had her on the phone about 2 days ago because I really wanted to know exactly what was the problem there. And she's struggling sometimes to find people who are underskilled, and they don't necessarily correspond to what the clients are expected. So there is, which is shocking because there's recent stats is 174 million people in Nigeria. So it's the biggest population in Africa. And it's the 7th biggest in the world now. And you can't find the right skilled people. 174 million people. It's just amazing, isn't it? So there's a big chance there. There's a big market for people who want to have a career or do some projects in working. But on the other hand, it means that half of people in Nigeria are underskilled. So some of them they are analphabets, so they don't know how to write. They do know how to speak, but they do have a problem of academic background, and that's a real issue. And I think this needs to be addressed as well. To say, okay, you've got big potentials, but because you don't have the populations going forward, then you are making a step forward and making 2 steps back. And when I think Nigeria would be able to make 2 steps forward and no step back, then there will be a real opportunity for other countries to work with Nigeria and to boom up Africa. I think that's really the point I wanted to add in between the 2 skilled, lower skilled people.
There is few things. We were talking about expatriate recruitment today. Since 2010, there is a Local Content Act in Nigeria, which has been fully implemented in 2012, which today concern essentially the oil and gas sectors, but which is spreading in all the other sectors. So, which requires 85% of the people working in companies to be Nigerian. Which explains why today there is a huge Nigerianization process. So companies are looking for qualified Nigerian. Worldwide, true. And I have to just underline a point on that. We do a lot of repatriate. Repatriate recruitment are not easy to be reintegrated because they are as well seen as people taking the place of qualified people locally, which means I didn't have the chance to be abroad, to study abroad. I didn't have rich parents. But but I'm fighting hell every day, 3 hours in the traffic to work, and I'm deserving this. And sometimes the problem in Nigeria is not the potential of qualification, is the accessibility of the qualification. There is a problem of training, there is a problem of schooling, of university, but not potential. The potential is there. I mean, we met amazing people. So expatriates are still required to come back on that, but on very technical expertise. So which means we're looking for engineers, we're looking for structural, mechanical, design engineers, we're looking for people expert in logistics, for yard of construction, we're looking for very technical financial people as well. So anything which is technical and which can represent an added value is eventually a possibility, because to recruit an expatriate you need a quota. To get a quota you need to prove that you cannot find this qualification locally. So it's more and more challenging, and especially for big companies which are exposed. I'm thinking about, Total, for example, where they really need to get quota. It's quite a challenge. So expatriates, we still need. There will still be a very strong requirement, but based on technical competencies. Repats, definitely, but humility and I will say flexibility is required, and you don't, when you're a repat, you don't expect to be an expat back to Nigeria, like the expatriate Nigerian style, no working no more. So it's quite important to have this view, to have that in mind. And after, I'd say that entrepreneurship is, as well, as I'm repeating myself, but quite an opportunity, even if it's not easy to launch a business in Nigeria, plenty of opportunity.
Thank you very much. So we're going to talk about recruitment procedures, basically. I know there are, here, for instance, you're looking for a job, you go to LinkedIn, you go to Monster's Job, there's a whole plethora of sites and online portals. As recruiters, where do you search for people trying to go back to Nigeria, or for French people or Europeans who are trying to find jobs? Where can they look? What websites or blogs does do your companies work with to find recruiters? Do you use social media, or is that obsolete now in Nigeria, or is there even any point to use that now? What would you advise people who are looking to go to Nigeria to find work?
Start with me. Wow, I'm delighted. I've actually I've prepared a list of job sites for those interested. So it's about 10 to 15 job sites. Are there any people interested in websites, job sites? Okay, well, at least we know that we can send it. Just to talk about how we do recruit, I think the good thing is there are recruitments for everyone, and for I wouldn't say for no one, but for every organizations. In my positions and in the teams of Funmi, based in Lagos, we recruit across different positions. We mainly recruit people with 5+ experiences. We don't go lower, unfortunately. Okay, if people are not happy, then there are other recruitment agencies, being there. So I think to talk about the way the recruitment is being organized and how we recruit people, there's job sites for everything. You can find any kind of website of job sites, but you need to find a job site which actually is set for your profile. Some of them are having a very big hit, but they don't have good jobs or serious jobs, because some of them are not necessarily confirmed. And Funmi told me about that, where there's lots of job advertisements, but they don't necessarily find people from job advertisements. And we use, obviously, proper links, which are, they're not necessarily LinkedIn. There are some forums as well, some very interesting forums. I don't know if Alexandre would have a word about this. Naira Forum or Nigerian Hub Forum. Well, I'll send the list anyway. There's plenty of them. but they are all, I would say, dedicated to the right type of skills and experience. That's my view, and that's the discussion I had with Funmi, with her and her team. I love you guys to share that.
In Nigeria today there are 100 million phone users. Internet is everywhere, and smartphone, Nigeria are in love with their smartphone, smartphone and everything. So they are always connected, and internet, and I know that the second session you're going to speak about this digital economy and those companies which are increasing on the web. But so they are using phone to get a job, to see the different opportunity. They are very much on LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn is a huge tools for us recruiters, for company directly as well, and to be seen locally. So it's today quite important. Of course, there is as well some local job board like Jobberman, which is more dedicated for the Nigerian in Nigeria, I will say. And there are international job boards, of course, depending on expertise, where you can find jobs. Or you can go as well on, and I'm promoting all of our companies, but we promote as well directly on the website the position for which we are currently working.
Thank you, Alex. Yes, I would say that LinkedIn is maybe the hugest way to reach candidates now. I think I read a few days ago that they have a bit more than 300 million users on LinkedIn, which means 2 times Nigerian population. And as Alexander said, Nigerians are very connected, and 100 million people, they have at least 2 mobile phones, at least. So this is crazy. Of course, we have other means to reach candidates, such as our website. michaelpage.fr is very, it's fantastic actually. We have a huge database too. We have a bit more than 2 million CVs in our database, and maybe I don't know, 300,000 or 400,000, are Nigerian, or they apply from Nigeria, or are based in Nigeria, and are based internationally, and they want to relocate to Nigeria. So this is definitely an attractive country for our businesses. That's it.
So we're going to talk a bit about the culture. We know that one of the issues with expatriates or repatriates is basically adjusting to the new culture, or entering into a culture that you left a long time ago. So what elements of culture shock can people coming from outside of Nigeria might they experience in Nigeria? And are there any kind of cross-cultural management events or programs that any of your companies organize, or maybe the companies in Nigeria organize, to help people transition into this new environment? And also, I guess it's also a twofold question: how different is the company culture in Nigeria in general to what people are used to here, for instance?
Okay. Cultural shock in Nigeria, yes. There is one real one. But I think in Nigeria, concretely, with the 10 years experience that I have with this country, you meet people and they say, I love it or I hate it. It's not like a mixed feeling like, oh, yes, it was nice, or I don't remember so much. Nigeria is like, wow, or wow. It's globally, it's so... it's a human experience. I think it's a country which is revealing people, bad side, dark side, but good side as well. You cannot hide yourself. You cannot have your facade at work and after your personal life. No, everything is mixed, especially for the expat. You live in some specific area, you're all together, most as well. It's quite a challenge. After there is all the constraint of traffic, pressure, population pressure, this natural aggressivity, of people. You see in money, people are talking to you aggressively because it's the way of working, it's the energy locally. So there is a way, again, I think, capacity of adaptation, flexibility, and I'm coming back on the recruitment requirement. Today working in Nigeria is not only having the skills technically, it's as well being able to evaluate and be flexible enough to work out of his own box. I am a financial manager, but I may have an issue with the logistic guy, and I need to solve this issue, and that's everything. Every day is another day, and you never know what will happen that day. So I think that's clearly a fantastic experience, but I will not say that's an easy one every day. Related to the seminar you're mentioning, no, we don't. I think it could be interesting, even if I don't know if you are prepared to be in Nigeria. And one of the main advice that I will give is the following. You arrive in Nigeria, don't think when you work there with your European prism. Okay, that's the way I've been used to work, and that's the way it has to work here. It's not possible. You get frustrated, you get used, you burn yourself, and you're finished. So you need to adapt yourself, think, okay, that's what I'm used, that's not the way it is. You have to fix your drive yourself. I mean, the few or 3-4 criteria that you don't want to argue on, and that's it. And after, you have to compromise and adapt yourself. And this is as well a very energetic and rich environment to discover things culturally and with people.
I'm trying to turn the answer back the other way around, actually. I've had the chance to live in France and in the UK, and punctually traveling in not all around the world. I wish I would, but I had a very good friend back in Birmingham in the UK. I was very impressed by he had lots of projects. We were students over there, and he just talked to me. Oh, I want to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be that one. I'm going to be this. Well, he had loads of projects. I was like, hold on, how many loves have you got? Basically, the drive is something very important. Emulating as well people around, creating emotions, but keeping that desire. So we talk about entrepreneurial skills. It is something that you build up. You don't build up when you start to work. You build it up, from the very, very early age, if I can use the word. The earlier, the better. But I wanted to talk about, what happened in the culture shock in Nigeria. If you are not from Nigeria, or if you are willing and you want to adapt over there, it's happening everywhere in the world, especially in Africa.
You are listening to Nollywood Radio France. I'm Comfort Abiodun, your host. Please stay with us.
To the room, perfect yet unaware. You cut me off my guard, baby. Oh, so sad, cause I know this feeling way I get for you, baby. No be play. Did all my best to make you see that my love for you, girl, is heavenly. And baby, no be lying, yo. Yeah, and baby, no be lying. But it's so not fair. My feelings for you, girl, I know feet tell. You did play me 10-10. Baby, why be say you gotta do me so? Baby, why be say you gotta play me so? You didn't pay me, oh, yeah, you know, try. The way you just run around on fireflies. But me, the way you see, I know they carry last. You didn't pay me, oh, yeah, you know, try. The way you just run around on fireflies. But me, the way you see, I know they carry last. Hey, it gets us to be for this love, a blessing, of course, a sorrow, a joy. Maybe you didn't switch your body to drive me insane. The way you didn't front your body, they busting my brain, no. You stab me from behind, no. And you mash up my mind, no. The one's not saying now, oh, go, my. You gotta use, oh.
me cry. I don't wonder why. I gave you my heart, my body and soul, but girl, you threw them away. Yeah. I treasure you as my silver and gold, but girl, you they take me from away.
I know one conny love.
You don't take me.
I know one conny love. I say bye 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 baby. Bye 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 bye. I say bye 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 baby. I got to make a fight now. See they pay me oh. Just run around. I say bye bye
You are listening to Nollywood Radio France. I'm Comfort Abiodun, your host. Please stay with us. Like it was said, to make it big in Africa, a business must succeed in Nigeria, the continent's largest market.
There's a word I like very much, which is the homeland consciousness. Just to summarize, that people think they want somehow, whether they are based in France or the countries, they want to go back to the country. In Nigeria there were three major periods of migrations. The first one was in the 60s, and that was at the time that Nigeria took the independence. The second one was in 80s, in the 80s, in the petroleum shock, where obviously we had people as well repatriating in other countries. And the third one was in 95s, with the military's issues, and obviously nowadays, unfortunately. But so those migrations, people thought that they would go and come back. But many of them, and most of them, did stay, and they actually set up what we call the diaspora for Nigerians. And actually, this is a very, very strong, powerful channel. And people are thinking how they can bring the business from where they are to Nigeria and develop their businesses. And actually, some of startups and incubators are doing it. You mentioned earlier on, the mobile industry. There's a few companies which actually offers lots of innovations. There's one which actually offers to people to pay in person without internet and only with their mobile. I don't know if you realize that. Get your mobile, go to anybody who is, you want to buy your grocery, you want to buy your food, you go to the supermarket, you use your smartphone, you don't have the internet, and you are able to make a transaction. This is how powerful people can bring their skills. Not only in Nigeria, okay, it's not only Nigeria, but there is a big potentials, and people, they've realized it, and they're investing in it. So that was the point I wanted to make.
Well, I would say that the first thing in my mind would be that being afraid of relocating in Nigeria, I think from Europe, it's normal. If you see Nigeria, you see the wars, you see the riots, you see the Ebola, yes. It's not funny, huh? Come on.
No, there's no Ebola.
No, yes.
No, exactly.
So I think the thing that I challenge the most in a meeting with the candidates, and even with my clients who wants to make business in Africa, in Nigeria, is the life project. I think even for a repat, whatever, if it's for a repat or for a local or for our expats, I think the life project is predominant to succeed in Nigeria.
You talked about the local staff, and sometimes there's this feeling of you're coming to take our jobs, and we're here, we've been hustling, and you're coming with your privileged life, and now you want to take all our jobs. So, but really, how tolerant are Nigerians who are in Nigeria of foreigners, or even other Nigerians who are coming back to the country after being away for so long? What is the relationship like? Are there tension, and how do you deal with that if it does exist? How is that dealt with?
Well, when you go to Nigeria, you can feel the difference between rich people and poor people. When you go to Ikoyi or VI, you feel that everything is good, everything is right, and everybody has money, and everybody can buy everything and can consume actually. I think there is a bit gap between these two parts, between mainland and you have the big bridge, and the side you have the Beninese people living in the water, and so I think maybe 10% of the population has, let's say, a good chance to have a good job. So definitely it creates frustration with the population. I think it's normal. The Nigerian people I placed in Nigeria are, as Alexander said before, low profile. So even if they spent 10 years or 15 years in Europe or anywhere else, they have to adapt themselves. And as Alexander said, it's important to stay at your place, low profile, and don't show that you have money. When I've been in a club in Nigeria, in a nightclub. Yes, sometimes it happens. And I saw people around 20 years old spending $20, $30, $40, $50,000 in bottles, and I think you definitely don't have to act like this. This is the way I think.
I share your point, and I've been to nightclubs as well, and I've seen that. Now, I think that there is a major trend at the moment, which is people are believing, and Nigerians are believing in their country. So even the dirty money, which was, the money which was not so clear, which was before in Switzerland, in Europe, is back to the country, and people are like, wow, it's no, we need to invest in our own country. And so there is this drive locally, people are reinvesting, there is major project, and they are considering that the return on investment is probably going to be better in Nigeria than anywhere else. So that's the place to be. And it explains as well why there is this drive for repatriate Nigerian abroad, considering the fact that why do I stay in US, why do I stay in Europe when this is in my country, in Nigeria, where this is happening. Everybody is talking about Nigeria all the time. So this is Nigeria. So today, this movement is important. It creates frustration, of course, and I was explaining that sometimes the perception of repat is complicated, especially for position with people management, when this is technical position with strong expertise is not seen the same way. Money is talking in Nigeria, so you come, you get money, and people are respecting the money. So if you make money, it's fine. So I think concretely that today in Nigeria you say frustration, but they are happy. After the Vietnamese, they are the second nation worldwide who are considering themselves as the more happy in the world. So Nigerians are proud of their country, they want to invest in their country, and they are happy as well to welcome back their own people.
I'll pass my turn.
Well, you can tell us about North Africa.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that people have the chance to answer to questions, and actually I think it would be a good. North Africa, yes. No, I think it's yes. People they've realized over the last 20-25 years now that because we live in a very, very speedy economy. You can communicate now. You can send a text to your family. You can WhatsApp. You can do whatever you want from anyone, anywhere in the world. Business means the same. And the thing is, because we are living in accelerations of communications, of businesses, things go faster. And when they go faster, well, people want to move faster as well. But the culture stays as well, it's still strong. And you do find that as well in North African countries where people are very proud. They know they have got difficulties. They know it's hard. It's twice and 3 times as hard as they would do it anywhere in the US or in the UK or in France. But they know because they've got that homeland consciousness to say, right, I'm going to be proud of what I do. I'm going to be proud of my country. I want my family, I want my friends to be proud of what I'm going to do. And I want to be someone, I want to do something. I want to leave a footprint for what I'm going to do. And I think this is pride which is added up with skills. When you add up both of them, then it's a very explosive ingredient, I would use the word.
Thank you. So, yes, we're going to the question and answer session. Because of time constraints, we might not be able to take all the questions. But there's if you go to Twitter and you follow the hashtag Spotlight Nigeria, just in case you're not able to ask all the questions you might have now, you can ask your questions and we will answer the questions to the best of our abilities. So it's over to you. And yeah, sure.
If you have a question, you can just signify by raising your hand.
You don't have any questions, Ken? You don't have any? Hey, I'm asking.
Hello. Hi. My name is Benedict. I work in wine and spirits. I actually have a question mainly for Alexandre. You were talking about Nigeria as the land of opportunities for entrepreneurship. Can you elaborate on that? And I specifically, wanted to know state-wise and regarding the government, what would you say the different measures would be good for entrepreneurs? And of course, entrepreneurs that are not Nigerian.
Je réponds peut-être à haute voix, tout ça. Vous m'entendez tous?
C'est vrai.
Est-ce que tout le monde parle français ou est-ce que vous souhaitez qu'on continue à parler anglais?
Français, c'est bien. Français.
Non, c'est pas normal. Désolé.
Français.
Le Nigeria, c'est anglophone, d'accord, mais le Nigeria veut être francophone.
Bravo.
Let's move to the question. So.
Bravo.
Okay.
On va travailler avec la France et c'est vrai que c'est encouragé maintenant pour apprendre le français, mais ça reste quand même un pays anglophone. Donc, la langue du business, c'est vraiment anglais. Mais vous êtes...
Chercher des informations au niveau de la France, on parle anglais et français, on n'a pas dû parler qu'anglais.
But we will go on in English, and if just because that's true, Nigeria is in English. So concretely, when I say entrepreneurial spirit is there is opportunities in Nigeria. Don't take me wrong, it's not easy. It's not easy, especially for non-Nigerian. The first step, the preliminary step, and I'm talking by experience because we launched our business in Nigeria, you need a partner. I strongly recommend to get a partner, local partner, a partner that you trust, a partner that you feel comfortable working with, which is sharing your approach, sharing your project. And there is 2 types of partner, an active one or a passive one. Passive one, which is just, it's going to be the chairman, will not do too much, but will let you do everything and will get probably from 25 to 35% of your business. It's true. But it as well can help administratively on the fiscal aspect and all those things. Registering a company in Nigeria is not so difficult. It's not so challenging. You need a good lawyer. It's not either very challenging to find. There are plenty of good lawyers in Nigeria. As well, I strongly recommend to find somebody through connection. We are in Africa, and Africa is working through connection. So if you have a project, you really need, first of all, to get in touch with people locally that have been recommended by different other people and exchange with them to avoid, there is no magic trick, there is no one point of contact which is working well as it is the case in Malaysia, or no, Nigeria is still quite a challenge. But and it's question really much of people you can meet which will help you. But there is room definitely for project, there is room for opportunities and you know, I was discussing before coming here with somebody working in the oil and gas sector, and he was mentioning to me, Alex, you cannot believe the number of opportunities for web agency, people that can design website properly, people that can do digital marketing. I mean, there is a huge opportunity there because it's not done properly, and the market is growing. So all those functions and all those business service-oriented type of business, if you have the right approach, it's potentially going to work. But again, there is a wrong approach, which has been the case in you can sell not everything in Africa. It's easy. Is definitely not the case. You need really much to know your market, to know the consuming habits, but if you have the good project, the good product, and the right people to work with, you might be successful.
But the government doesn't have like special measures to attract foreigners?
Yeah, there is special measure when you invest, you're you're going to be fiscal free for a few years, depending on the sector you're investing in. There is a certain number of measures, but we can talk later on that.
Sorry, just for any other questions concerning entrepreneurship and starting a business, we have the section after that you can ask all those questions. Donc s'il y a des questions qui concernent les entrepreneurs, il y a l'autre session qui vient après.
Cassie, you can sit. Cassie? Sorry, you can sit. I'll go around. You can ask your questions in English or French, it's okay. Hi, can you hear me? Okay, so I'm Ife Onikoi. I do digital marketing. Actually, I was under the impression there was not that many opportunities in this kind of business. So that's why I'd like to bounce back on this. So you said that there were lots of opportunities of this type, but where do we find them?
Digital marketing, it's my word. Not only, if I may, if you allow me to. Yes, of course. Whoa, but you're gonna have to find them. Do you think word is easy? Shall I say? No, it's not. So what I'm saying is, if you look for it, there are lots of startups. I mean, you in digital marketing, so we're not talking about entrepreneurial aspect. Okay, so we talk about jobs. Yes, there are companies, but they are not as present as the FMCG industry, the mining industry or the oil and gas industry. So obviously, it's a personal project that you need to handle and trace. But trust me, there are lots of great companies setting up, incubating in Nigeria or outside of Nigeria. What I'll do is I'll give you some links. I'll give you some formal incubators with digital marketing, and you will see what the answer is behind. If it's okay with you.
I might just add to that. There's a company called Tribal DDB. It's in Lagos, so they actually do recruit. Any other questions? So we can take
Thank you. My name is Bridget, and I'm a journalist here, and I wanted to know if there are opportunities in the media.
The opportunity in the media. Well,
media or producing or editing.
Huge. I just come back from Nigeria. I mean, I was in Nigeria 1 week ago, and I spent there 2 weeks, and we had the chance to visit. I was talking Cassandra about that. Cool link, and there is Cool FM. They are going into TV, and at the moment, clearly, there is, I think, a huge movement in that trend, in this trend. So TV, clearly, I think there is a lot of information. Radio is moving as well. I'm sure there is a lot of opportunities for journalists in Nigeria at the moment. After, may not say that that it's going to be. I mean, TV and radio, but written journalists, how it is. Sometimes you have to face the local constraints.
Yeah.
Just to join to that answer, you may not necessarily find opportunities within Nigeria, but there's some group of media companies. It started well actually in the North African countries, where they've actually they're having their headquarters somewhere in North Africa or in France, but they do have detached journalists who live or who travels very regularly. So. Because I've had the opportunities for meeting quite a few journalists, I've more recruited into what we call, journalists in the web. But it could be something where you are, intending to as well, focus your career, because journalism is as well is a function, especially in France, which is suffering a lot. So we are more aging to, digital journalism, project related to that kind of media. But you will find groups of companies being present. I know some of them in North Africa, and they don't only do North Africa, trust me. They do as well, they cover up the rest of Africa. It's just, you won't necessarily find a position maybe, or you would, but you would not find as many positions as eventually in Nigeria. That's my point, because I've had the chance to look at it and eventually have some clients from it.
Media is not my scope, I'm sorry.
Yemi-Abiodun, vous représentez tous les trois la branche française en fait de vos compagnies respectives, si j'ai bien compris.
African branch. La branche africaine, désolé.
En France.
Enfin, nous, on est basé en France. Alex est basé...
On fait que l'Afrique avec Sen. Donc, il y a un bureau à Paris, mais le bureau, toute notre activité est dédiée à l'Afrique.
D'accord. Et ma question est...
Des groupes internationaux, et sont des grandes multinationales. On est un Lilliputien à côté.
Avez-vous des besoins qui demandent en fait des compétences linguistiques en français?
Oui, bonne question. Oui.
Parce que c'est vrai qu'on est en France et au Nigeria, oui, qui demande...
Moi, vraiment, pas du tout. Mais c'est Alexandre qui est plus placé. Désolé, Alexandre.
Concrètement, est-ce qu'aujourd'hui des groupes recrutent des bilinguals?
Exactement.
Nigerian bilingual.
Exactement.
Oui, nous on en a besoin. On a des postes actuellement, c'est assez compliqué d'ailleurs.
Oui.
Donc on a des... Parce qu'en fait, il y a beaucoup de sociétés qui décident de s'implanter au Nigeria pour rayonner sur le marché. Alors, aujourd'hui, le marché béninois, le marché togolais, le marché nigérien et camerounais sont des marchés importants, et y compris jusqu'à la Côte d'Ivoire. Et on décidait souvent, c'est nouveau, d'implanter des hubs régionaux à partir du Nigeria. Et par conséquent, recherche de plus en plus des gens qui peuvent d'abord travailler le marché nigérian, mais ensuite rayonner également sur les marchés de la sous-région. Et donc la problématique linguistique est un réel atout. Et aujourd'hui, on a beaucoup de mal à trouver des Nigérians qui parlent français. Et donc, ce qu'on fait souvent, c'est qu'on recrute des francophones qui décident ou acceptent de venir au Nigeria.
Est-ce que vous avez des exemples d'industries ou de compagnies qui recherchent?
Il y en a plein. Nous, aujourd'hui, on travaille pour une industrie un distributeur qui fabrique des produits destinés à l'industrie du ciment et qui installe un bureau au Nigeria et qui recherche par conséquent quelqu'un qui puisse développer cette activité-là pour eux sur le Nigeria et la sous-région. Donc il y a plein de sociétés, il y en a beaucoup qui recherchent ce genre de profil aujourd'hui, et je pense que c'est un atout de pouvoir parler français quand on est nigérian aujourd'hui, sachant qu'il y a beaucoup de grands groupes français ou de groupes même internationaux qui cherchent à rayonner également sur les sous-pays. Et je ne parle pas forcément de multinationales énormes, je parle de groupes, de grosses PME qui ont besoin plus, qui n'ont pas les moyens uniquement de se focaliser sur un pays et qui ont besoin d'avoir un rayonnement plus fort. Et donc oui, dans ces cas-là, c'est vraiment des atouts, je pense.
Si je peux juste répondre, vous êtes dans quel domaine? Dans le journalisme également?
Non, moi je suis consultante en informatique.
En informatique. Is it okay if I speak in French? C'est bon? Ok, ça va vous faire plaisir. Ou en arabe ou en espagnol, si vous préférez. Non, mais je sais pas justement. En fait, je vous réponds. Hein.
Oui, bien sûr, on me demande de rendre le micro.
En fait, pour les linguistes ou pour ceux qui ont une facilité à parler plus d'une, voire deux langues, c'est une aubaine. On a parlé tout à l'heure d'un marché qui va très vite. Comment vous pensez que le Nigeria, la France est classée selon différents partenariats avec le Nigeria? Dans le monde de l'oil and gas, ils sont 7e, je crois, ou 6e. Le premier, c'est les États-Unis. Mais sur d'autres industries, le ciment peut-être, je ne sais pas. Il y a certainement des clients français également qui sont très intéressés par les ressources naturelles et les ressources au Nigeria, que ce soit en import ou en export. Ce que j'essaie de vous dire, c'est que ne voyez plus la linguistique comme une pierre qui vous bloque. C'est au contraire, c'est quelque chose d'exponentiel. Et vous avez tout intérêt à la développer et justement à parler plus de langues. Plus vous maîtriserez une langue autre que l'anglais, et je suis d'accord sur la partie francophone, parce que si vous regardez Nigeria, les voisins du Nigeria, calculez, regardez les pays anglophones et regardez les pays francophones.
Alors vous avez des besoins? Non?
Vous êtes direct.
Non mais...
je suis sûr que vous avez un CV là.
Non, mais il est électronique, je peux vous le transmettre, il n'y a pas de problème.
On a certainement des besoins. Alors je ne vais pas vous mentir, j'ai pas le listing dans la tête, mais en plus vous êtes dans l'informatique, plus vous parlez le français et l'anglais. Ouais. Donc bien sûr il y a des opportunités, il y en a de très belles. C'est ce que je disais tout à l'heure au jeune homme là-bas qui prend la parole. N'allez pas en bon roi. Allez-y avec votre bâton de pèlerin. Cherchez. Ne soyez pas... n'ayez pas une mentalité de « Ok, je suis un européanophone, si je peux me permettre l'expression, et je vais me régaler avec ce qui peut se passer. » Faux. Faites plus d'efforts que les locaux et vous verrez le résultat derrière. Parce que beaucoup de gens, parce qu'il y a énormément de sites qui sont en ligne, moi j'enverrai la liste encore une fois, ça veut rien dire un site en ligne. Nous on fait de la chasse. Vladimir, Alexandre et moi-même, on fait de la chasse, on va aller chercher les candidats. On ne fait pas ce qu'on appelle du job pooling. On peut le faire parce que si le client demande, ou si on a besoin de générer un certain nombre de candidatures, mais ce n'est pas notre premier métier. Notre métier à nous, c'est d'aller chercher la compétence où elle existe, où elle est. Donc si vous êtes là et si vous existez, faites-vous connaître. Mais allez le chercher. On ne va pas aller vous chercher, ce n'est pas le loto.
C'est vrai que le président Goodluck a rencontré François Hollande il n'y a pas longtemps, hein, il y a quelques mois, justement pour pouvoir développer ce lien. Alors justement, vous qui êtes porteur de... Hein c'était pour mettre le point final.
Bonjour monsieur, je me présente Moulay, je travaille avec mon frère ici présent. On est dans la mode de luxe, on a une marque qui est connue en Afrique et nous souhaitons justement développer Alphadi. Et nous souhaitons justement développer la marque afin qu'elle soit encore plus internationale. Mais on n'arrive pas à trouver de bons managers. Nous avons commencé d'abord au Niger. Maintenant, nous souhaitons à l'international qui puisse parler anglais. On est situé au Maroc, à Abidjan, au Mali, au Niger, mais on n'arrive pas à trouver de bons managers. C'est là justement la question. Nous sommes basés au Niger.
Est-ce que vous avez des bons salaires?
Bravo. On n'arrive pas à trouver de bons managers. Lui, il a dit, est-ce que vous avez des bons salaires?
Parce que souvent, moi je suis frappé, les gens me disent souvent oui mais voilà, c'est très difficile. Et je vois de temps en temps, alors je ne dis pas que c'est votre cas, hein, mais je vois de temps en temps les propositions qui sont faites et je veux dire on n'attire pas voilà, pour attirer des bons profils, il faut mettre des bonnes conditions en face. Et au-delà simplement d'ailleurs de les attirer avec un salaire, il faut les attirer avec un projet. Concrètement aujourd'hui, moi je vois de plus en plus les gens qui sont intéressés pour aller dans ces pays-là ou pour revenir dans ces pays-là pour y travailler. Il faut leur proposer un projet. C'est-à-dire qu'un projet à long terme, moyen terme. L'erreur que commettent d'ailleurs beaucoup de sociétés, c'est de ne penser qu'on ne peut les attirer qu'avec de l'argent. Ça ne marche pas uniquement. Il faut de l'argent. Hein. L'argent, s'il n'y a pas un bon package au Nigeria, vous pouvez vous accrocher pour avoir quelqu'un qui viendra vous voir. S'il n'y a pas une perspective pour gagner encore plus d'argent, c'est important. C'est un drive. Et c'est une valeur reconnue au pays. Mais il faut un projet, donc je ne sais pas quel est le vôtre aujourd'hui pour vous implanter. Je sais que la mode, il y a la Fashion Week au Nigeria, ça rayonne, c'est vraiment un grand drive hein, aujourd'hui. Mais je pense qu'après, il faut vous appuyer sur la bonne approche. C'est pas uniquement les managers, c'est à mon avis la vision que vous pouvez avoir du marché qui doit être peut-être ajustée. Et si vous en avez une bonne, vous trouverez les bons managers. Je pense.
Écoutez, dans le milieu du recrutement, est-ce que vous avez eu des CV de managers ayant un lien avec le milieu du luxe, la mode, enfin, en Afrique?
On en parle. Vous le savez, on en parle après, si vous voulez.
Ok.
25%.
On fait produire du textile au Nigeria. On fait travailler beaucoup de milliers de métrages de textile absolument à Lagos. Voilà, chaque fois qu'on a besoin, c'est au Nigeria qu'on produit pour vendre. Comme c'est que les textiles comme l'ISCO, comme d'autres partenaires font, on a notre propre marque de textile qui se vend dans le continent africain. Mais c'est produit au Nigeria. Donc on crée de l'emploi aussi au Nigeria.
En fait, il serait important de dire en fait quel est pour vous un bon manager. En fait. Au-delà de l'argent, enfin, je suis d'accord avec toi, Alex. Enfin, l'argent c'est très important et il n'y a aucun candidat bon ou mauvais qui acceptera d'aller en Afrique pour un package dérisoire ou un peu plus. Un bon manager, c'est un manager qui va rester dans votre projet, pas le projet qui va s'inscrire dans le long terme. Moi, j'en vois jamais des gens en Afrique qui se disent ouais, je vais rester un an en Afrique et je vais repartir, voilà, je vais faire un peu d'argent. Moi, les gens que je vois, c'est uniquement des gens qui s'inscrivent dans le long terme. Donc, un bon manager, c'est quelqu'un qui va adhérer au projet, quelqu'un qui va rester, qui va développer, qui va apporter sa touche, pourquoi pas, créative, parce qu'on parle de textile, ça c'est toujours intéressant. Et voilà. Mais voilà, deux choses importantes, c'est le profil et bien sûr le package.
Okay, we'll take two last questions from you and from the lady who raised it. No, good, go ahead. It's okay. We'll talk later, so that you know all can ask the questions. All right, so start from you then.
I'll actually do my second question to the second segment. I've been to forums before, and I've had a lot of people complaining that they are short of skilled labor in Nigeria. Skilled labor. And I've had a lot of Nigerians who are willing to go back to Nigeria and they complain that there is no job. So, from what you've said now, it seems that there are quite a number of jobs in Nigeria. And I'm asking myself, if a lot of Nigerians are willing to go back and they are complaining of no job, even in France, I've been to forum, I've met a lot of Nigerians that are complaining. So where are the jobs? Are there really jobs in Nigeria?
Let me answer. First of all, what's your name, please? Julius. First questions, who do you trust? Your friend or yourself?
Myself.
So, that's it. Just come back to what I said earlier on. Go, I'll send you, again, I've got that list of jobs. Just go to just one job site and look for jobs. I don't know what's your background and experience and the job that you're looking for, but we never say there's a job for everyone. We never say that. Otherwise it would be paradise, wouldn't it? But as well, there are shortages of skills. That's something that you should know as well. It's not perfect jobs. In regions, you got some regions where the unemployment rate is nearly 40%. In Lagos, it's between 7 and 8-9%. So yeah, you would find more opportunities in Lagos than in other regions in Nigeria. But what I'm saying is, get your own way to search for existing jobs. Ideally, do that beforehand. Don't go, set up in Nigeria and start to look busters. Again, we talked about educating yourself, about your network, about your skills, about your experience. That's exactly the same things. Educate yourself for getting the job for you in the next 2 to 3 years. Where do you want to be in the next 2 to 3 years? Do you want a good job? Then work for it now. That's my point. That's probably the expertise of other recruiters. I'm sorry if I'm pushy or rush, but it's absolutely true. My colleagues there won't say the contrary.
I will not say the contrary, but I will say that Nigeria has been moving for the last 5 years concretely, and there is a lot of major projects which have been going on, but they were not labor intensive. So, oil and gas, for example, is massive, is capitalistically massive, but it's not labor extensive. There is not much job in oil and gas. Infrastructure, same things. It's getting better with the privatization of the power sector. So I think globally, for jobs in Nigeria, we need to wait. I mean, for massive jobs in Nigeria, we need to wait for the manufacturing sector to improve. We need to wait for the infrastructure environment to be developed. And I think at the moment there is a lot of setup. And I agree with you. I had a lot of complaints like, where are the jobs for the people? I mean, for the average people. A lot of technical, high-skilled people can find jobs, but a lot of people are frustrating in Nigeria. But at the moment, I think in the next 2 years, you will see a massive change with the emerging of new businesses, new things, and a lot of employment will come. And the agricultural business, there is a plant which is expecting to recruit from 100,000 up to 250. Egina project in Nigeria, which is the oil and gas, is 50,000 jobs expected. You have in the manufacturing sector some project in the palm oil, in the automotive industry with Peugeot, and a lot of projects are going on which are progressively stimulating, but it takes time. In Nigeria, it takes so much time. And there is election this year, so you know.
Okay, so we'll take one final question. I just wanted to add to what you just said. I've been in business for 5 years in Nigeria, and every time I have a headache looking for skilled labor to fill some positions, and every time all my friends that own companies, they always complain, and they have jobs, but they lack people to fill these jobs. So if you are skilled, you actually find jobs in Nigeria. That's true.
Sorry, just to add briefly too, you need to look outside the traditional sectors. You really need to go outside of the box, because I'm talking as a young Nigerian, right? Sometimes we have this feeling of entitlement. Oh, because we're abroad, we should automatically find jobs. No. You go out, you look. Whether it's in LinkedIn, whether it's on Nairaland, whether it's on any of the companies, you have to be very proactive with looking for a job. And like you said, don't wait until you're in Nigeria to start looking for a job. Oh, I and Mr. Hakim Awua says, I remember his name.
My name was spelled wrongly, actually.
Oh, we're really sorry about that.
So we apologize in advance.
I think we can take one last question.
Okay, my name is Tanya, and as a non-Nigerian, I want to know if we need let me go ahead. I'm gonna do. So, if we need a work permit to work in Nigeria, and how long does it take to have this permit? And my second question is I work in SAP. I don't know if you know what is SAP. And as
No, not at all.
Okay, sometimes when I look for a job, I don't see like finance or assets management field where I just find oil and gas. So, are there any needs for person who is doing assets management or finance in SAP in Nigeria? And
okay, first one quickly. To work in Nigeria, you need a work permit, which is an STR permit, which is provided by the company which is going to recruit you. This company is requiring a quota, as I was explaining to you, and this quota is obtained on company per company, depending the number of quota that the company can get, depends on the number of local profiles that they have and the dynamic that they are stimulating with local worker to get expatriate. The more you work with your local, the more you can get quota. And that's the truth for exposed company. After, you can buy quota in Nigeria when you're not so exposed. And of course, to get an STR working permit, you need to get a diploma, a university diploma. if you don't get that, it's going to be more and more challenging to get a work permit in Nigeria as a non-Nigerian. So and it's why today expat recruitment are more challenging, and there are not as many as it was the case before.
I think it's unfair because you've asked for 2 questions, but I'll answer very shortly, very briefly. SAP, it's a massive brand and process. Do you expect SAP to be in Nigeria with lots of jobs, with what we know about SAP? It's difficult. It's difficult because organizations over there, unless it's corporate, where SAP has been implemented all around the world and they have to use the software, whatever modules they need to use, because we call them modules. You're a developer or just a consultant for SAP? Well, is that technical or functional? Functional. So it's not technical. You're not developing SAP, just functional. Because I've recruited a bit in SAP, but I don't have a job yet. But give it some time. Don't rush. What have we been talking about earlier? I'll finish maybe. You can't be impatient. You need to. It takes time. I agree. It takes time everywhere, not only in Nigeria. It takes time, and sometimes, and I do have some Mediterranean skills and African skills or roots. I'm very impatient sometimes. I don't know if I'm the only one, but but you have to deal with it. I recruit in countries like Algeria, not Nigeria, but I think they are very close in terms of process, because you don't get things easily. It's so tough. But this is where you will shine. If you work hard, if you build up early on. I answer to Julius. I didn't forget your name. You build up from there. And then you will get your opportunities where you've already worked for it. That's the answer. So please don't think, snapshot, job. Me, get the job. No. Me, going for the job. That's the snapshot. You can't dream about it. And Cassie said it very, very, very clearly. And so John did. You don't find it as it comes. And, you really want to work for this. And eventually you will find your reward, because that's your reward, that's your final end, isn't it?
Thank you. So, we've come to the end of the session. We will quickly get up, so the next session will start, because we're taking up enough time already. Thank you very much, Mr. Hakim, Mr. Alexandre, and Mr. Vladimir.
Are we leaving?
Thank you very much to all the speakers from the first session. We're now going to start the second session about investment in Africa with Mr. Norbrook as a moderator, Mr. Adebawa from Virgin Africa, from African Union.
Sorry? My email? Okay, I'll be back. I just need to see.
Ça va? Mais tu vas m'appeler, le week-end passe, c'est quoi la chose que tu m'appelles? Mais j'ai pas ton numéro, tu m'as pas.
Like it was said, to make it big in Africa, a business must succeed in Nigeria, the continent's largest market.
Jeremy, tomorrow's economy, that's really what African Internet Holdings is all about. Why don't you explain a little bit about the company, the links from Rocket Internet down to Jumia and Nollywood?
Okay, so my name is Jeremy. I'm the co-CEO of Africa Internet Holding. So Africa Internet Holding is basically a group of companies that are building internet businesses everywhere in Africa. So we have about 8 businesses, and I can explain briefly, and we are present in about 25 countries. So we don't do every business in every country, otherwise we would have 8 times 25. But we have about 75 companies now across Africa, and about 3,500, 4,000 people. So Nigeria is our biggest country by very, very far. Much bigger than South Africa, than Morocco, etc. Much bigger than Kenya, just because of the size of the country. We have about 1,500 people there, and so we develop very simple, in a way, websites. So we have a very big e-commerce website. We have a very big marketplace. We have a real estate classified website. We have a car classified website. We have a hotel booking website. We have a taxi app. We have a food delivery website. So we build those businesses. They are called Jumia, Kaimu, Moody, Carmoody. And so basically we started 3 years ago. And I think it's based on what you said and everybody said before. I think it's a huge, massive opportunity. Massive, because, for example, people don't have any other alternative. So when you try to build a business online in Africa, and especially in Nigeria, the question is not can you become the largest online whatever, because there is no one, and it's actually quite easy. The question is, can you become, for example, the largest shopping destination in Nigeria, because there are no stores, which is more important than the fact that there are no online websites. If you go in Lagos, you have 2 malls for 20 million people. And if people, at the airport in Paris or London or New York, they carry 10 luggage, it's not for the fun of paying an excess fee to British Airways or Air France, because there is no supply. And since there is no supply, it's kind of a cliche, like for the mobile phone, when people went from mobile to, from nothing to mobile. It's a cliche, but it's true, and it's happening the same for retail, for example. So now, many people are having their first real organized shopping experience online, because they don't have a store anyway. So I think this is a big opportunity, but it's difficult in the sense that there is nothing. So you need to build everything yourself. And what the co-panelists said before, I think is very true. If you don't have the passion, the energy, and also the appetite to do everything yourself, and you just want to rely on other people, you can't do it. So for example, for us, Jumia, we had to build the largest delivery company of Nigeria. We have 800 motorbikes and trucks that we own, and we are bigger than DHL or FedEx or UPS, because it doesn't exist. So if you want to deliver your customer, you better have a delivery company. So I think this is a very, very, very exciting place. Nothing is easy. If people come and think they will shake the tree and the fruits will fall, no. But when you are ready to go for a very, very big effort, I think it's fantastic.
It's interesting you mentioned Kenya there, because there's a lot of hype around Silicon Savannah in Kenya at the moment. Do you think Nigeria has got that blend of universities, venture capital, and entrepreneurs that made Silicon Valley such a success?
Definitely. I think there are a few. I mean, I'm not 100% sure about my numbers, but I heard there are more people online in Nigeria than in the rest of Africa altogether. You take Egypt, Morocco, Kenya, South Africa, all those fancy places. There's less people online than in Nigeria. I'm not sure it's 100% true, but it's not completely wrong. And I also heard there are more people online in Lagos than in the whole Kenya. Which again, I'm not 100% sure, but if you look at 20 million people in Lagos, 50% of the people have somehow access to the internet, not directly, but through connections. You have 10 million people online only in Lagos. So one, I think just the scale of it is massive, and so there is nothing that compares to Nigeria. I think two, the fact that it's a difficult country makes it much less hype. So people prefer to think they will work in Nairobi or in Cape Town. Actually, it's not that big. It's like countryside compared to Lagos. And in Lagos, you have tons of fantastic universities, tons of entrepreneurs, tons of energy, and also it requires more effort. So if you want to go for easy entrepreneurship in Africa, you go to Nairobi or Cape Town. If you want to go for the big, difficult, but probably bigger opportunity, you go to Lagos.
So we hear this word difficult a lot in relation to Nigeria. Let's have a question for both of you. How difficult is it to get into Nigeria? What's your entry story into Nigeria?
Donc notre entrée au Nigeria s'est passée par le contrat de 4 ans. C'est un process qui est toujours un petit peu long. Il faut être présent et puis saisir l'opportunité comme partout. Comme partout, il y a toujours le petit quelque chose qui va aider. Et je vous citerai un autre exemple très prochainement. Là, ça a été la visite de Mme Irak, ministre du Commerce extérieur, qui a servi de détonateur pour forcer, entre guillemets, le client à franchir le pas. Et se dire, bon, ok, le contrat, il n'est peut-être pas parfait encore, mais on y va, on signe. Et le contrat de Platina, c'est signé comme ça. Alors, ça peut être des élections, ça peut être des visites présidentielles qui ont poussé. Si nous avons signé ce MOU en février avec le gouvernorat de Soum, c'est bien parce qu'il y avait cette visite présidentielle, les deux présidents étaient là, il y avait le forum économique franco, le premier forum économique franco-nigérian à Abidjan. Eh bien, l'occasion était trop belle pour louper ce moment pour signer cet accord. Voilà. Et là, il n'y a même pas 24 heures, j'ai eu l'occasion effectivement de recroiser le président français. Et donc je lui ai rappelé je me suis rappelé à son bon souvenir sur le Nigeria, et en lui disant, écoutez, on va essayer de marcher. Le financement qui va arriver normalement par Bercy à travers la réserve de pays émergents, on me dit qu'on va mettre 6 mois pour l'instruire, c'est pas possible. Vous devez absolument appuyer sur le bouton. Et ben, je peux vous dire, en 24 heures, les choses sont en train de se débloquer. Donc ça, c'est... il faut y être. Bon, ça fait le 3e voyage depuis le 1er septembre que je fais là-bas. Donc j'y suis, j'y repasse régulièrement. J'ai des gens sur place. Bon, on parle d'un contrat de 41 millions. Mais il y a un moment où il y a la petite opportunité, il faut la prendre. Ça,
Jeremy, what if you don't know the French president? How can you get into Nigeria?
Which we don't. No, I think different industries, different needs and stories. I think when you work in energy, in banking, in telco, if you want to build a new operator in Nigeria, good luck, except if you know the president. But I think, on the other hand, for many industries, you need nothing. Like we arrived, we met the guy who distributes Samsung products. We agree on a price. We put a website live. We recruit a driver, and we deliver a product. And I think I meet everyday entrepreneurs who are making fantastic business without making their life too complicated. We have people who travel to China. They do a new line of clothes. They bring back the clothes. They sell it. They make a premium. They make a new, bigger line of clothes. I think there is sometimes. Also, for Africa in general and Nigeria in particular, a misconception that you need to know everyone and the government will try to make your life complicated, etc. It's very true for some industries. Most of the time, it's an excuse not to do something. If you want to do something, nobody will prevent you. On the opposite, actually, it's a business-friendly place, and everybody who wants to do something should not wait until they know someone who knows someone. I think if they go there and they do something, maybe it will fail, maybe it will work, but it's not going to be the fault of someone else.
Now, this is maybe a delicate question to ask, given where we're sitting, but where is the bureaucracy worst? Is it here in France, or is it in Nigeria?
De la bureaucratie, oui, il y en a dans tous les pays. Vous savez, il y a beaucoup de pays en Afrique qui sont des anciennes colonies françaises, et je dirais c'est là où on voit le mauvais côté de la France, de temps en temps. Voilà. Oui, il y a de la bureaucratie. Alors, est-ce qu'elle est gênante? Est-ce qu'elle retarde les projets? Est-ce qu'il y a de la mauvaise volonté? Je ne crois pas. La mauvaise volonté, sûrement pas. Je pense plus que les gens sont frileux parce qu'ils ne connaissent pas. Et donc, il faut petit à petit amener les personnes à comprendre le projet pour effectivement se dire non, le Nigeria ne va pas prendre de risques et on peut y aller. Voilà. Et ça, c'est le côté un petit peu compliqué. C'est pour ça que je pense qu'il faut être présent. Quelque chose a été dit dans l'intervention précédente qui me paraît indispensable, c'est d'avoir des bons partenaires au Nigeria. Il y a des très bonnes sociétés locales. il faut avoir du local content, c'est indispensable, et s'appuyer sur des gens qui connaissent les us et coutumes. Il faut être très ouvert en Afrique, partout. Chaque pays a ses habitudes. On parle de l'Afrique, mais ce sont des Afriques. On ne travaille pas au Nigeria, comme en Côte d'Ivoire, comme en Éthiopie. Et il faut connaître ces pays-là, connaître les habitudes. Et donc, pour ça, je pense qu'un partenariat local est indispensable.
Is this how your experience as well, Jeremy? Having the right local partner helps unlock things?
Maybe we're in a different situation in the sense that our team is local. So, we don't have a local partner because our team is a team of locals.
So you had a sort of a startup founder who is Nigerian?
Yeah, let's take a company like Jumia, you have 5-6 expats and 1,000 locals. So. No, but I think the question for us is you can listen to many advice that says many different things, or you can follow the rule. And it sometimes doesn't happen often. In Nigeria, people follow the rule, they find a way to do without rules, but if you follow the rules, it works. So you have like the government who say you need to pay this tax on the VAT or the salaries. You have 20 people who will have 20 opinions. No, in Nigeria you don't have to pay this tax, or you just pay it. You get the paperwork that shows that you pay it, and if one day someone asks, "Did you pay it?" you show the paperwork. I think life is simpler when you go straight also.
So you're saying that Jumia, which I imagine imports a lot, has to get stuff through the Nigerian ports. Yeah. Jumia has never helped expedite a process by contributing a little bit extra to
no, so we have import-export companies. We are not expert in filling the 500 pages of the paperwork. We have an import-export company. They are Lebanese, Indian, Chinese who do that every day. Those guys, you give them all the paper they ask you. They give you all the paper that shows they went through the custom, and you pay them.
That's a real local partner. Now, sometimes it's more than just the right partner. Aliko Dangote, the much talked about billionaire whose cement and sugar fortunes have been driving business news, has a $9 billion refinery project, which was launched with great fanfare last year. It's been put on ice. People say perhaps because of disagreement with the petroleum subsidy lobby, who have a strong lobby within government. How important is it, Jérôme Douat, to have a political champion for your project if it's, a $40-50 million affair?
Alors oui, nos projets sont des projets quand même toujours très politiques, parce qu'on travaille au niveau des infrastructures, donc on va amener un poids pour développer l'économie locale. Donc le choix d'implantation se fait savamment entre les différents décideurs politiques. Ce sont des investissements qui sont lourds, qui s'inscrivent sur la durée, des taux de remboursement, des durées de remboursement, souvent des financements qui sont sur 20 ans. Donc là, on travaille vraiment sur la durée et il doit y avoir de la planification. On ne décide pas d'aller investir 50 millions de dollars ou 100 millions de dollars à un endroit juste pour 1 ou 2 ans. Donc ça doit s'inscrire dans un développement et là, il est, je pense, indispensable effectivement que les politiques prennent possession du sujet. Je reviens juste sur notre modeste domaine, donc cette production d'énergie, ça a énormément d'interactions. Ça a de l'interaction au niveau du terrain. Je prends l'exemple de la centrale d'Oshogbo. On parle de 25 hectares. 25 hectares en bordure d'une capitale d'État. Ça a quand même une incidence sur la planification du développement de la ville. Ça a une incidence aussi sur le développement des réseaux électriques, parce qu'il va falloir se connecter. Est-ce que le réseau électrique va être capable d'absorber cette énergie renouvelable? Pourquoi faire? Donc on travaille vraiment sur la vision politique de développement du pays. Mais sans les politiques, ce type de projet, effectivement, ne pourrait pas voir le jour. Voilà, donc le Katsina, ça a été vraiment une volonté du gouvernement fédéral. Donc cette centrale éolienne dans le nord, qui a été la première centrale éolienne et la seule du Nigeria. Oshogbo va être la première centrale solaire du Nigeria. Là, c'est le gouverneur qui porte ça. Et il faut effectivement avoir quelqu'un qui a une vision. c'est en général sur le politique.
And do you have any reason to be in any dialogue with Nigerian politicians in your sector? Not so
No,
much?
I mean, we are in 25 countries in Africa, so we avoid as much as possible to deal with politics. Honestly, like, it's only problems. Nothing good can come out of it. So, joke aside, if we I think like the Ministry of IT, she knows us, we have been talking, etc., but in the sense of what we bring. So, you know, we have created in total 2,000 jobs in Nigeria. We have reduced the price of a lot of products because the margins were insane. We have helped a lot of suppliers to grow their business, etc. So we have a positive impact on the economy at a very, very, very small scale. And sometimes the politicians are interested to better understand and give it as an example. But we never approach them, and I have teams in countries saying, oh, I know the son of the brother of the minister, and I'm like, fine, but don't talk to the minister. So depends on the business you are, but definitely we can avoid and we avoid.
Great. So I should be humble and ditch all my questions and throw this open to the audience. Do we have any questions here for our
I have a question. So my question is actually to Jeremy. It's funny because occasionally I consult for Nollywood Week. It's a film festival, Nollywood Film Festival, and we're looking for sponsors. And so we discovered Jumia, and then it's funny because I saw like a whole list of all the companies you mentioned, basically, Kamudi, the food delivery service, and I was like, whoa, it's like a whole chain, and Easy Taxi too, and all that. So my question is, like, how has the response been, like Nigerians having to use online services? Because I know sometimes there's always that, oh my goodness, is it safe to, for instance with Jumia, buying things online? And, how has the response been, what's people's, what's the relationship with having to do things online? Because I know that it's a relatively new culture for us. We're more into going to the marketplace, touching, feeling, and so you don't get cheated, basically. So how do people trust what is online? And secondly, I know that logistics is also a big problem, like delivery. Sometimes you don't even have like streets with proper names, and if someone says deliver at number so and so, and there's no street name and number, how do you deal with all that? For someone who might be thinking of, going into logistics and haulage, for instance, how would you advise them?
So I think first it's important not to confuse the opportunity and the need with the challenges. It's not because there are challenges that there is no opportunity or need. I think the opportunity and the need is massive. Again, it's massive. You have millions of people who have 2 phones, shirts, shoes, TV, AC, fridge, and they have to buy it at an insane price in the street with no warranty of anything, and it's very, very, very painful to buy, and it's very expensive. So the need is huge. Are people willing to buy online? Yes, like anywhere in the world. My mother, she also wants to touch and feel, and little by little, she is buying online. So it's not a Nigerian thing. I think everybody is used to offline, and little by little, when they see the benefits of the price and the practicity, they buy online. Now, what do we need to do to make it happen? I think for us, there are a few prerequisites, but it's prerequisites. It doesn't mean it's impossible. I think one, you need to build a trust. So the trust is just a challenge that you need to address. The trust comes from people being worried you will get scammed. So what do? You do cash on delivery. That's it. People, they give it a try. They say, maybe it doesn't exist. Maybe it's a fake website. Anywhere I pay nothing. And then you do the delivery and the rides with your driver. You see the face of the people when they have their first delivery, and they cannot believe it. And then they order twice and 3 times, and so cash on delivery. Don't think people have to pay up front. You can make them pay after. Very simple. 2, the fact that you cannot fail. You cannot fail. People won't give you a second chance because of what you say, the trust. People have the same expectations as anywhere in the world. It's not because Lagos that people will accept to be delivered 15 days later and with a broken package. They are in Lagos and they want the same standards as in Paris, New York, and London. So now we do same-day delivery in Lagos, 5 days in the country, and this is important to build the trust. Finally, you say the infrastructure. Same. If you want to see that there is no infrastructure and therefore pass on the opportunity, then you pass on the opportunity. Or you say that you are going to hire drivers, train them, build a logistics company, and you are going to do the delivery yourself. So I think it's only a question of how far you're ready to go to make things happen. But the opportunity is here. That's not for me, that's not the question. It's just, are you willing to get it or not?
Bonsoir. Ma question s'adresse à Monsieur Douin. En fait, j'aimerais avoir votre avis personnel sur votre point de vue sur les coûts des énergies renouvelables. Quand on voit qu'aujourd'hui, les pays comme l'Espagne, l'Italie, ce sont des énergies qui étaient financées par l'État grâce à plusieurs subventions, vu que ça coûte extrêmement cher. Et on est un peu surpris de voir un pays africain se lancer dans ce type d'énergie. J'aimerais savoir comment c'est financé et qu'est-ce que le consommateur final paie dans tous ces investissements. Merci.
Alors, je pense que vous avez tous de la famille en Afrique. Vous connaissez des gens qui reçoivent une facture d'énergie électrique en Afrique. Regardez-la et regardez combien coûte le kilowattheure. En France, on a de la chance, ça coûte 10 centimes d'euros. C'est rien. Ça coûte très peu, et c'est un coût qui va augmenter. Mais en Afrique, déjà, on n'est pas sûr de l'avoir. Et quand on l'a, il peut coûter très cher. Alors, souvent, dans beaucoup de pays, le kilowattheure est subventionné. Oui, en Éthiopie, il doit être à 4-5 centimes d'euros. Mais c'est l'État qui vient compenser. Le coût réel du kilowattheure est beaucoup plus élevé. Mais ça, ce coût-là n'est valable que dans les pays dans lesquels vous avez un très gros réseau d'interconnexion, dans lequel on peut avoir des grosses centrales qui viennent à travers ce réseau de transmission alimenter l'ensemble du pays. Juste, il faut savoir, c'est que le Nigeria a très peu de lignes de transport d'énergie. Et donc, le coût réel du kilowattheure est extrêmement élevé parce que ce sont des centrales diesel décentralisées. Alors là, c'est valable pour le Nigeria, mais dans plein d'autres endroits en Afrique, au Mali ou autres, le coût du kilowattheure du petit groupe diesel de village de 300-400 kW, on est à 50-60 centimes d'euros du kilowattheure. Alors quand on commence à présenter du kilowattheure éolien ou solaire qui va tourner à 15-20 centimes d'euros, et bien là, vous abaissez la facture d'énergie. Et c'est le système qu'on a proposé, c'est le système hybride, qui consiste, parce que l'énergie renouvelable, le problème de l'énergie renouvelable, c'est que le soleil ou le vent, quand il est là, l'énergie est produite, quand il n'est pas là, ben, il n'y a rien. Voilà. C'est un peu gênant quand même quand on va allumer ces lumières. Donc le système hybride consiste en fait à allier un groupe thermique conventionnel avec de l'énergie renouvelable, et en temps réel, on optimise la pénétration de l'énergie renouvelable dans le mix énergétique. C'est dit d'une manière un peu simple, c'est un peu compliqué dans la mise en œuvre. On a tout un système de logiciels, de capteurs sur le réseau pour pouvoir réagir, pour pouvoir délivrer un kilowattheure donc de qualité. Et en faisant ça, on abaisse le prix global de l'énergie. Je vous donne juste un chiffre. Nouadhibou, Mauritanie, Slima, qui est le producteur de minerai de fer de la Mauritanie. Nouadhibou, c'est le terminal de là par tous les bateaux qui emmènent le minerai mauritanien à travers le monde et principalement en Chine. Centrale thermique, la direction de la STIM nous a demandé, parce que c'est assez vanté, d'installer 16 éoliennes là-bas. Ces éoliennes, quand elles tournent, et elles tournent tout le temps, produisent de l'énergie qui vient se substituer à de l'énergie produite par la centrale thermique de la STIM. Tous les 4 mois, ils se payent une éolienne. Voilà. Grâce aux économies d'énergie. Et donc, la SNIM a décidé maintenant d'investir sur Zoerat pour 10 mégas, et on est parti sur un cercle vertueux en Mauritanie. Là, il y a une centrale hybride solaire qu'on devrait signer là avant fin octobre. Bon, tout ça, c'est parti. Voilà. Donc l'énergie renouvelable, ça a un énorme avenir en Afrique.
Le consommateur final, la question, l'aspect de ce que le consommateur paye.
Oui. Ah ben là, après, je vais vous dire, ça dépend des politiques nationales. Hein. Nous, le but, c'est quoi? C'est d'abaisser le coût du kilowattheure. Alors, les pays dans lesquels il y a déjà un kilowattheure qui est subventionné, en fait, c'est l'État qui vient compenser. Donc c'est sur le budget de l'État que vient cette compensation. Le but, c'est d'abaisser globalement la facture énergétique. Il y a des pays où c'est directement au village, où il n'y a pas de réseau interconnecté, et c'est donc au village où le consommateur vient payer son kilowattheure pour la centrale locale. Là, l'énergie renouvelable peut permettre d'abaisser le prix du kilowattheure.
Bonjour, j'ai une question pour M. Doua. C'est par rapport aux énergies renouvelables. Vous avez parlé d'une forte implication dans les éoliennes, dans le solaire. Et du coup, est-ce que vous voyez ces formes d'énergie comme des énergies qui peuvent s'implanter et qui doivent s'implanter durablement en Afrique, quand on sait les nuisances sonores, quand on sait le grand espace que cela occupe et la terre arable qui se raréfie de plus en plus? Pourquoi ne pas opter pour la biomasse, par exemple, comme source d'énergie? Et l'autre question que j'ai, c'est par rapport au transfert de technologie et au recyclage des panneaux solaires, par exemple. Est-ce qu'en Afrique, vous pensez qu'à moyen terme, les ingénieurs seront en mesure de construire eux-mêmes les éoliennes et de procéder au recyclage des panneaux qui sont plutôt pas très écologiques? Merci.
Alors, je vais commencer d'abord par la fin, sur la problématique du recyclage. À l'heure actuelle, les panneaux sont déjà garantis en productible, 25 ans. Donc, les panneaux, au bout de 25 ans, le fabricant de panneaux garantit 80% du productible initial. C'est dire que le produit va durer quand même assez longtemps. Donc, on a quand même une durée de vie assez longue. Et le recyclage se créera déjà parce que les fabricants pourront les recycler. Bon, ça nécessitera effectivement un démantèlement, mais on travaille sur du long terme. Nous avons pris, nous, l'optique chez Vernier, à l'heure actuelle, de ne pas faire de stockage par batterie. Parce que les batteries, effectivement, ont un problème de cycle. Et avec la chaleur, on estime qu'elles durent à peu près 5 ans. Et il n'y a aucun centre de retraitement des batteries en Afrique. Donc je préfère effectivement allier du thermique et de l'énergie renouvelable pour ces problématiques de pic de production plutôt que d'utiliser des batteries. C'est le choix qu'on a fait. Peut-être que dans 5 ans on évoluera, mais au jour d'aujourd'hui c'est le choix. Donc oui, on fait attention au recyclage, mais à l'heure actuelle les panneaux ont une telle durée de vie que c'est une solution intéressante. Vous avez parlé de la problématique effectivement du bruit, la problématique d'utilisation de surface. Je reviens juste sur le Nigeria. C'est pas un Nigeria, mais il y a des Nigérias. Lagos, c'est une très belle ville, mais ce n'est qu'une partie du Nigeria. C'est peut-être la partie sud du Nigeria, c'est peut-être 20% de la population, c'est 80% ou 90% de la richesse du pays, mais il y a beaucoup d'autres endroits au Nigeria, où c'est dans le nord, il n'y a pas grand-chose. À l'heure actuelle, il doit y avoir à peu près 20-25% de la population du Nigeria qui est connectée à l'énergie. Au Mali, c'est 11%, au Tchad, c'est 2%. Donc, est-ce que, effectivement, à travers l'énergie renouvelable, on ne peut pas dynamiser ce raccordement à l'énergie? En France, on ne se rend pas compte, mais on appuie sur un bouton, la lumière s'allume, on ouvre le robinet, il y a l'eau qui coule. Mais il y a beaucoup d'endroits en Afrique où ce n'est pas le cas. Et donc, l'énergie renouvelable qui a au départ un précepte simple, c'est une énergie décentralisée. Donc, on essaye de se mettre proche des consommateurs ou des foyers de consommation. À travers ça, qu'est-ce qu'on va amener? On va amener le développement économique, parce qu'avec l'énergie, on développe de l'artisanat, on développe donc de la richesse, et ça va permettre effectivement de rentrer dans un cercle vertueux. Et puis de la surface, pour le moment, il y a encore de la surface disponible et qui n'est pas nécessairement de la terre arable en Afrique. On y prête attention. Et alors là, je rebondis sur la centrale de Katsina. On a mis des éoliennes, certes, mais on est en train de travailler avec le ministère maintenant pour équiper le sol en panneaux pour pouvoir utiliser au mieux tous les hectares qui ont été utilisés par les éoliennes. Voilà. Donc ça répond à votre question pour essayer d'optimiser.
Bonjour monsieur, ma question est destinée à vous deux. Vous avez été amené à entreprendre en Afrique et surtout, quel style de management avez-vous adopté en Afrique du coup, lorsque vous avez appris dans des écoles américaines ou françaises? Du coup, par votre expérience, que pouvez-vous nous dire quel style de management avez-vous entrepris au sein de votre propre entreprise?
For us, I think it's more we always give the same image to all our managers, and so we try to apply also to ourselves, which is that they should not try to be kind of the bossy manager. They should not be the Steve Jobs in the air. They shouldn't be the friend also, because it's not being a good manager. We give them the same image, which is you have to be a school teacher, and we explain what it means to them, and that's really what we tell them. A school teacher does two things. One, he knows better than his students and therefore than his team what is their job, and he can explain every single detail. And I think the first problem we find with management sometimes is that you have people who are very highly shallow, and actually if you ask them to do what their team is supposed to do, they wouldn't be able to do it. And so I think you cannot manage a team, at least in Nigeria or in Africa, if you're not better than them at what they do. If you just give direction, more on the left, more on the right, it's not helpful. So one, they need to know better than their own team how to do their job, to teach them, to help them, and to show them. Two, they also need to put some rigor. When you have a class and you are late, you don't come in. If you have an exercise to do and you have not done it, then you are out.
You are listening to Nollywood Radio France. I'm Comfort Abiodun, your host. Please stay with us.
Merci beaucoup à tout le monde d'être venu. Je voulais...
You've been listening to Nollywood Radio France. I'm Comfort Abiodun, reporting from Paris for Nollywood Radio France. Thanks for listening.